So after some bizarre news, some bizarre promotion for this event, Floyd Mayweather finally stepped into the ring against Tenshin Nasukawa. Now, originally when this was announced, people had no idea who Tenshin was. They didn't understand why Floyd was doing it, how much money Floyd could possibly be making, how this was even going to make any sense at all. Um, Floyd then backed out of it, only to find his way back into it. It sounds like he was finally happy with what they were paying him, which sounds like it was about $9 million for what was a 3 round exhibition fight. Keyword there being exhibition. Now, a lot of people going in had no idea what exhibition meant. If it meant that it was just because it was going to be a normal fight under normal circumstances, both were going to try to win, but it just wasn't going to count towards the record. If that's what exhibition meant, or if it was going to be more of a work. Um, After the fight was over, it seemed like a lot of people think exhibition was just a way to prevent it from being counted on a record, but in reality, it was an actual fight. I am not of that belief. But I think it's interesting to see how people responded to it. So I'm just going to show some different responses that we got from people in the MMA world, and then cap it off with what I think is the best breakdown of this, which was done by Robin Black to explain the same side that I feel on this, which is that this was a complete work. It wasn't a real fight. Good for Floyd for getting $9 million for it. Hopefully, this is good for Tenshin and that it brought a lot of attention to his name before the fight was announced. Not a whole lot of people knew who he was. Now a lot of people do know who he is. Hopefully, if he has some success in kickboxing and MMA moving forward, that people don't take this fight with Floyd to be a real fight and think, oh, well, that's nice that he's doing well, but remember what happened against Floyd. This was good in getting attention to him, but maybe not the best acting job by him. So first off, just to look at some of the responses that we've seen from the MMA media. Not there. From Ariel Helwani, I thought that he really bought into this. And one thing I got to say, there are a lot of conspiracy theorists out there where anytime something happens, their mind immediately goes to how can this possibly be a conspiracy? How could this be fake? How could this be not what it's meant to look like? There are people who have that same sort of approach, but instead of thinking about how it's everything's a conspiracy, they take the approach to how everything's not a conspiracy. And I think we're seeing a lot of that in the responses here. So let's start off with Ariel Helwani's response. He says, "I see everyone calling it a fix. Riddle me this: why in the world would Rizin pay Floyd to destroy its undefeated star? That's not how fixes work. Call me naive, but if that truly was fixed, that was rather a questionable move on Risen's part because it hurt Tenshin's aura. If it ended in a draw or was a snoozer, or if Tenshin won, sure, fix. This only hurt Risen and its star." Well, again, it helped Tenshin as far as people knowing who he is by getting him up against Floyd. So there was the benefit of that. You're also assuming that they're doing what's the most logical thing. That doesn't necessarily mean that's what happened. You're also assuming that Risen is the one that paid off Tenshin. There could be someone else who's involved in this. Obviously, Japan's known for having fixed fights and having there be some shady dealings in the back room, whether it's with the Yakuza or other people. So trying to understand why it happened, maybe not the best idea. Not everything is going to end up being logical here. We had Ben Askren responding to the Robin Black tweet, which I'll be featuring a little bit later on, just saying, damn, looks like it worked to me. I agree with Ben Askren on this. Also agree with Robin Black. Jimmy Smith, who had worked in Bellator for a while, and obviously Bellator had their issues with fights that people considered to be fixed, whether that was the Kimbo Slice Ken Shamrock fight. Really, I guess any Kimbo Slice fight or Ken Shamrock fight seemed to go that way, including the Ken Shamrock Hoist Gracie fight. But what he said is easy guide to idiotically calling a fight fixed. Check 2. 1. Did the favorite have an easier fight than expected? Did the favorite have a harder fight than expected? Did everything go exactly as expected? Did the fight take place in Bellator/Japan? So the point he's trying to make is that he thinks that people are just idiotically calling this fight fixed, and no, just because it happened in Japan, people are going to jump on it. Obviously, as I said, we'll get to it in the end with Robin Black, why I think this was fixed. And then one more here was Demetrius Johnson responding to the fight saying Mayweather equals GOAT. Sure, maybe you think Mayweather is the GOAT regardless, but I have a feeling that the timing on this suggests that Mighty Mouse was impressed with the fight against Nasukawa. I would hope that's not what he meant. Maybe he was just using this as a time to remind everyone why he thinks Mayweather is so great, seeing how Mayweather was fighting, but I wasn't really so convinced. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to show a video that Robin Black put up on his Twitter. I would encourage everyone here to follow Robin Black on his Twitter. It's Robin Black MMA or at Robin Black MMA. Has a lot of interesting stuff. Does a lot of these 1-minute breakdowns where he goes into a fight and shows some cool stuff within just a 1-minute time frame. So it's really easy to consume on the go, really quick. And he's also really responsive. Anytime you really respond to him on Twitter. Hey, they give you a like or he'll respond to you, which is pretty nice and pretty cool for someone with a profile like his. So I'm just going to play the video, let him explain what's going on, why he thinks it wasn't, why this exhibition wasn't exactly the most competitive fight in his mind, and why I agree with him. If it plays, there we go.
Robin Black, 1 minute breakdown. Tenshin and Mayweather exhibition bout. A chance to see a young super talent get the rub from a veteran great. First knockdown. Didn't see that bink, not sure where it was. The hook looks like it touches over the shoulder, but the right sails by. You'll see it come out the other side. But Tenshin, you tell us, where'd you get hit? I get hit to the body. Putting on a show, kid. Thank you. Appreciate that. And Mayweather, that one looks good. But you'd never see Mayweather square his feet and extend his hands like this. But in this case, he goes body, frame, bink, right there. Look at the angle, and then look where the head goes. Different trajectory. That's okay. This is a show. It is an exhibition. Last shot. Boom. That's a big one, isn't it? You don't see any hip turn here from Mayweather, and he doesn't stomp the cigarette. Check out the angle of this shot right there. A little touch on that angle, and Tenshin gets shot out of a cannon. But it's a Japanese tradition to showcase a future great with a legend. We saw that here. Tenshin Nasukawa is a super talent, one of the great martial artists of the generation.
Yeah, so obviously you see that video. It looks really cheesy. I tend to fall in line with Robin Black saying here, where it was an exhibition. It wasn't exactly the best sell job by Tenshin. Tenshin being an elite kickboxer, if his chin's that bad, he's going to have a lot of trouble in his next few kickboxing fights, dealing with some of the shots he's going to be dealing with. If those punches from Floyd Mayweather that early on with the larger gloves were giving that kind of trouble, I can't imagine that knees or kicks would be handled too well by him if Floyd Mayweather is given those kind of issues. Obviously, seems to be a bit of an acting job by Tenshin, and hopefully everyone who watched that fight kind of realizes just what it was. It was a cool opportunity for Tenshin to be in the ring with Floyd Mayweather, a cool opportunity for Floyd to bring attention to Japanese MMA. And really, beyond that, there's not a whole lot more to it.